Member for Barton.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I want to have the opportunity to reflect a little bit on the member of Mallee's comments today in respect of this MPI. And the tone of it was quite disturbing. It's continued division, again, but this is between old and young. I'm tired of this, Deputy Speaker. The reality is, number one, I cared for my grandparents, particularly my grandfather, who recently passed away. And during the time when the Coalition was in power, we steadily watched the decline of bulk billing in the area of Hurstville, which is in my electorate. It is a big issue. As a candidate, running as the candidate for Barton, obviously that was a big issue for particularly older people in my community to be able to access bulk billing services. That is as a result of the Coalition not investing in health. And the reality is, reflecting on the member of Mallee's comments today, particularly on putting down on our health system, no one's saying it's perfect at all. But it's taken an Albanese Labor government to invest fully to make it better after a decade of neglect. Now, the member of Mallee, I'll take the eye roll as well, Deputy Speaker, because when she talked down the nurses that work at St George Hospital, she talked down the doctors who work there as well. She talks down also the aged care workers that service the aged care services in my electorate. Well, that came from your mouth, because particularly the member of Mallee made it very clear, Deputy Speaker.
Direct comments through the chair. No more interjections from the member for Mallee either. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. But the reality and her reflections on this particular point of the Australian health system, particularly the workers, is really damaging. The reality is that we, the Labor Party, has increased the amount of funding, particularly in bulk billing services, which has been great. For the electorate of Barton, we've seen a significant increase of 14 fully bulk bill services, and in banks as well. But what I want to reflect on particularly is that, or what the issue of the MPI is restoring that fairness in the rebate system, and it directs much more needing funding to provide that dignity and care, particularly for our older Australians. Labor has invested $3 billion in delivering more aged care beds, more packages and better care for older Australians in this current budget. And it's important to reflect on that, because the reality is we've seen that neglect over the past 10 years under the Coalition. And also caring for my grandparents. I think it's one of those big challenges that a lot of us, regardless, I'm kissing 40, and the reality is it is quite challenging. But having cheaper medicines is pertinent to reflect on. That's been a great achievement for our older community in the electorate of Barton and across Australia. But also the free RSV vaccinations. That's life-saving vaccination that costs almost $300, and from May of this year, these older Australians won't have to pay a cent. That's another implementation as well to help our older Australians. Also, the urgent care clinic in Carlton has been a huge hit, particularly of that decade of not having bulk billing services particularly, but has been well received from people in my electorate. But also just wanted to quickly reflect as well on the PBS, particularly medication also for older women who are experiencing menopause, and also the expansion of endometriosis and pelvic pain clinics also is quite beneficial, particularly for older women in Australia. And I'm quite proud of that. And I heard also the contributions as well from those across about funding on hospitals. And the Labor government has also increased that funding by $25 billion over the next 5 years throughout that landmark hospital funding agreement. And that is delivering more money for public hospitals across the state and territories. And more importantly, as a former employment industrial relations lawyer, workforce is very important. And it's grown for the health workforce, has an extra of 17,000 doctors joining the Australian health system in the last 2 years. And that's more than any time in the past decade. And we're giving students more opportunities and training more doctors and nurses with the largest GP training program in history, and hundreds of scholarships for nurses and midwives to extend their skills and qualifications. Deputy Speaker, while I hear some of those concerns, particularly for older Australians who are contributing through the private health system, there is also other older Australians that don't have the opportunity to pay for that. And those people are coming to St Vincent's de Paul Society for help. This is a policy that the Albanese Labor government has made sure that we invest significantly in health, not only for young people, but for also our older Australians. Thank you.